thought he'd killed you, dear.
The daylight stopped it. Oh, if you could have seen the look on his face.
There's nothing more to fear, Miss Mina. Dracula is dead forever. No, you must go.
But aren't you coming with us?
Not yet. Presently. Come, John.
Don't forget to go to AMCTV.com to enter the Monster Fest sweepstakes for a chance to get a VIP trip to next summer's hottest premiere, Universal's The Mummy Returns, starring Brendan Fraser. And while you're there, take the haunted backlot scream test. The top scorers will win state-of-the-art DVD players and a movie to go with it from the Universal Classic Monsters collection. Carlos Villarias borrows Bela Lugosi's cape and fangs to play the famous vampire in the rare Spanish version of Dracula. Next on AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive. For years, they have been resting silently in peace. Only this October, the most famous monsters of all time aren't resting so peacefully. AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive. This October, no matter where you look, something will be looking back. Log on to AMCTV.com now and find yourself tangled in our web.
I bid you well.
It's AMC's Monster Fest Online, a bright site dedicated to Universal Studios classic movies that will make you scream with excitement. Dare creep onto AMCTV.com and you could win one of 100 DVD players or a luxurious 4-day trip for two to the world premiere of next summer's hottest movie, The Mummy Returns. Others won't be so lucky. And while you're there, creep around our haunted backlot and unearth buried goodies from the darkened vaults of Universal Studios.
There's a souvenir for you.
But the biggest thrills are yet to come. Alive.
It's alive!
Halloween weekend. Switch on your TV and stand back. The classics are dying to meet you. 5 days of classic monster movie marathon, hosted by Horrorwood's biggest fright fan, Whoopie Goldberg, and a special head-turning guest, Linda Blair. On air, online, all day, all fright. AMC's Monster Fest. The classics come alive.
Go now, and let heaven help you.
There's more to the movies than meets the eye. Every week, AMC's Behind the Screen takes you to the other side. Join host John Burke for deeper looks into the lives of your favorite stars and onto the sets of your favorite films. Take a look.
This week, see how Universal Studios brought the world's most famous monsters to life. And for the greatest comeback stories ever, hear the tales of haunted Hollywood.
Behind the Screen on AMC, Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
IFC's gonna traumatize you. You can't run. You can't hide. All you can do is scream. Indie Screams. IFC's Festival of Groundbreaking Independent Horror. With the premiere of IFC's The American Nightmare. Indie Screams. It'll scare the bejesus out of you. Call your cable or satellite provider.
What knockers? Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Who could ever forget the pranks and puns of Young Frankenstein? Mel Brooks' acclaimed lampoon of horror films. Certainly not co-star Teri Garr.
Hello.
You know, a day doesn't go by, and I am not exaggerating, that people don't come up to me and go, what knockers? Or, would you like to have a roll in the hay?
Would you like to have a roll in the hay?
At 24, Garr made her film breakthrough as Inga, the ditzy laboratory assistant of Dr. Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
The reason I found out about it was that my mother was a wardrobe woman, and she said, next movie I'm doing is with Mel Brooks. I said, oh, I love Mel Brooks. She said, you know, there's a couple of women's parts in it. I said, well, chance I have. I'll never get near that.
But Garr's offbeat humor got her near enough to be director Mel Brooks' second choice for the role of Elizabeth, Dr. Frankenstein's fiancée, until Madeline Kahn agreed to take the part.
Love me?
He said, you know, I'm sorry, I have bad news. Madeline just said, yes, she's going to do this part. I said, oh, all right. Well, it was nice coming in. Thank you. It was fun to be auditioning for you. But if you can come back tomorrow with a German accent, I'll let you try out for the other part, for the part of Inga. So I said, well, yes, I could come back tomorrow with the German accent. I could do it this afternoon, but we'll come back tomorrow. So I did.
Elevate me.
Now? Right here?
Young Frankenstein was the brainchild of comedian Gene Wilder.
Give my creation life!
Right off the hooks of starring in Mel Brooks' Western spoof Blazing Saddles, Wilder approached his director with the idea of collaborating on this horror satire.
I think it was first written originally 100% by Gene Wilder, and then, of course, Mel Brooks came in and can't help but touch it up and put his hands all over it. So it has Gene Wilder's serious intent, and it has all the craziness that Mel Brooks would put on top of it.
Like Brooks' infamous slapstick and naughty shtick.
The scene where I said, well, if his hands are big and his head and his heart and his feet are...
He would have an enormous Schwanzstücke.
That was Mel's word. I said, oh, Mel, what does that mean? It's my word. Just, would you just say it? He would do that a lot. When I would ask him what things meant, he'd say, just say it. Okay.
Despite his zany sensibility, Brooks was very serious about making Young Frankenstein a tribute to the horror films.
When we first did this movie, Mel took us down into a screening room at 20th and showed us the old Frankenstein. And he said, that's what I want. I want that feeling. I want this to be an homage to that.
To recreate that classic horror film look, Brooks insisted on shooting in black and white despite the studio's opposition. He tracked down the unusual laboratory props from the original Frankenstein and used them in his film. And he lovingly parodied famous scenes from horror classics, like the blind man sequence from Bride of Frankenstein.
A toast to long friendship.
Here I come.
What came off on screen as hilarious was equally entertaining on set.
I was so spoiled because the working atmosphere on that set was just like a party. It was like going to a party. I mean, you had to be laughing all the time. He had to be making jokes. Everyone had to be laughing.
I've got to look normal. We've all of us got to behave normally.
Young Frankenstein was enormously popular with filmgoers and critics, earning Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder an Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. And because of the delicate balance between madcap humor and stylish direction, Young Frankenstein stands out as one of Mel Brooks' most accomplished works.
After 25 years, is that how long it's been? You look at that movie and you still laugh and you still see the humor in it. It means it's a classic movie and it holds up.
You can see Young Frankenstein this Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern during AMC's Monster Fest.
Carlos Villarias borrowed Bela Lugosi's cape and pangs to play the famous vampire in the rare Spanish version of Dracula. Next on AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive. This October, the internet's got some new blood. AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive, online. Creep onto our website at amctv.com right now, and you could win some great stakes. We are giving away a free trip to a Hollywood movie screener and 100 killer DVD players with the ultimate Monster Fest experience. Watch AMC's Monster Fest movie marathons, then go online and test your monster trivia with AMC's Haunted Backlot Screen Test. We're always looking for a nice, plump brain. Plus, you can also score points with our shocking Shockwave games, or dig around the darkened vaults of Universal Studios with our Haunted Backlot Tour. You might find a surprise, or it might find you. This October, dare try an online experience that truly packs a megabyte. On air, online, all day, all fright. AMC's Monster Fest. The classics come alive.
The following Behind the Screams is brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevy will be there.
You cannot run away from the curse of the mummy's tomb.
Dare to unwrap the mummy. You may be surprised when you find the face of another monster.
We're about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science,
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Frankenstein's monster. When Boris Karloff tackled this career-making role in 1931, he made moviegoers gasp in horror with his menacing silence and gruesome makeup. He also gave Universal a surefire hit they immediately wanted to recreate.
Never saw a mummy like that.
Eternal punishment for anyone who opens this casket.
But they didn't just want a sequel. So Universal hired back Karloff to scare up the same big audiences in a different role. This time, the studio used the sensational 1922 real-life opening of King Tut's tomb as their inspiration, and wound up with the story of Imhotep, a mummy who is resurrected from the grave and goes on the hunt for his lost love.
I no longer fear you. Do with me what you will.
For added authenticity, Universal asked John Balderston, a reporter at the original dig, to write the screenplay.
He who robs the graves of Egypt dies.
The end result paid off. The Mummy rivaled Frankenstein with audiences and stayed immortal for numerous sequels.
Now go, while the moon is still high in the sky.
So, are you brave enough to do battle within the Mummy's tomb? Here's your chance. Log on to AMCTV.com and play the Tomb of Terror Shockwave game, where you can earn points to win one of 100 DVD players.
Good heavens, what a terrible curse.
This year, AMC's Monster Fest is throwing a classic reunion.
Oh my God, it's a monster!
It's one of the greatest collections of movie monsters ever assembled.
It's alive!
AMC's Monster Fest. The classics come alive. The 5-day marathon continues.
You're so lucky. You're still living. So you can watch American Movie Classics Monster Fest, a Halloween movie marathon starring Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and a regular who's who list of monster superstars. They're creepy, frightening, and only on AMC. It's 60 terrifying movies in 5 days. All you breathers can also hang out on AMCTV.com. It'll be non-stop scary with games and contests. And get this, a sweepstakes to win a deluxe summer vacation. A trip to the world premiere of The Mummy Returns. With limos, red carpet, the movie star treatment. Sorry, pal, you're not eligible. You don't want to miss Monster Fest. I guess I'll be here. But I'd watch if I could. Could somebody call Dr. Frankenstein for me?
This October, far away from the light of a projector, unseen by human eyes, the greatest, scariest, most famous monsters of all time are coming to you on AMC. Only this October, they're not just coming to you, they're coming for you. AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive. All day, all fright. Carlos Villarias borrowed Bela Lugosi's cape and fangs to play the famous vampire in the rare Spanish version of Dracula. Next on AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive.
I bid you welcome.
AMC's Monster Fest, the classics come alive.
Hola, and welcome back to AMC's Monster Fest. We're here on the Universal Studios backlot, where in the fall of 1930, they shot not one, but dos different versions of Dracula. By day, Todd Browning would direct Bela Lugosi and the rest of the cast you know. But by night, after dark, they were gone. Director George Melford took over and directed an entirely different Spanish-speaking cast. They used the same set, the same script. They hit the same marks, and Carlos Villarias, who played Dracula, even wore Bela Lugosi's hairpiece. And in only 22 nights, they shot a film that runs 25 minutes longer than the English-speaking version. What is going to surprise you is how different this version looks from the one you know. The movie's producer, Paul Conner, has a lot to do with this. He was a German and a huge fan of the silent classic Nosferatu. He did his best to give this film a German look, so be prepared to be amazed. It's time for the English subtitle, Spanish-speaking language version with the German attitude of Dracula.